Hello again everyone, Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having the same sign on the first and second houses in a natal chart. Now, when you have duplicated houses, the energy, the qualities of those houses are often going to be strongly integrated and amalgamated, and one can impact the other, and they often work together, and the sign that is on those houses will flavor that. Now, let's take the first and second houses. If somebody has the same sign on them, well, the first thing is they may use their outer demeanor, their characteristics, to generate income, which is the second house. Their early childhood experiences may strongly impact their values, their self-worth, how they value themselves. It might have something to, maybe it propels them to maybe work at a certain place or generate money in a certain way and work at a certain profession. Perhaps we look at this now. The values may come forth through the personality very strongly. When somebody sees this person on first impression, they may see somebody that where their self-worth and self-esteem really comes forth, and whether that self-esteem is good or it might not be is going to vary from individual to individual, of course. But the thing about it is this first and second house, those elements that are associated with both those houses can be strongly combined, and often what this is this is a way out, or it's a way one can extricate themselves from the problems that are due to the interceptions in their natal chart. This could be a person who had perhaps in their early childhood had certain things that were indoctrinated in them, and it impacts their values in their adult life, such as if somebody had a lot of, say, religion maybe injected into them, so to speak, when they were very young. Perhaps they put value on this later on in life. And the thing is, we could look at it let's look at maybe an example of this. Now, let's take controversial shock jock Howard Stern. Now, he has Gemini on the first and second houses in his natal chart. Now, Gemini rising, which is Gemini in the first house, can be very versatile, multifaceted, be able to talk up a storm, talk his way out of basically virtually any dilemma or predicament, be diversified on many different subjects, be unpredictable, loquacious. Now, him having this on his first and second house, this shows that perhaps his personality helps him generate income. People like to listen to Howard Stern, and I think a lot of people like him because they don't know perhaps what outrageous thing he may say from one minute to the next. And the thing about this is that with Gemini with him having Gemini on the second house, this shows somebody that can make money through communication, through something that is related to that. And sure enough, he does. And what this tells me is that he puts a lot of value in his communication. And I think what this is too is that second house rules possessions. Now, in a figurative sense, he can captivate an audience and somehow, quote unquote, possess that audience and bring them to him, and perhaps to a point where they're not worried about any copycats, anybody that might be the next Howard Stern or be the next renowned shock jock or what have you. And I think these things obviously would be very closely meshed within the first and second house, and his ability to express himself, to communicate. I think a lot of this can impact, probably impacts his self-worth and self-esteem, and he probably puts a lot of value on as far as his physical body, because many of you notice that Howard Stern seems like he stays, I would say, fairly slim and trim. That's a Gemini rising physique often anyway, but I think he probably does put a lot of value into that. So I think that's how they're intertwined with him, perhaps the second and first house. And let's take another example. Let's say somebody has Taurus on the first and second houses in their natal chart. Now, somebody with Taurus on the first house is going to obviously show a lot of Taurus characteristics in their outer demeanor, and this person may project a lot of being very persistent, tenacious, persevering, show a lot of stolidness, show ability to be reliable, dependable, trustworthy, consistent. And this is somebody who may very well, with Taurus on the second house, would show a lot of those qualities connected with monetary matters. This could be somebody, let's say that Taurus on the second house may work as a banker, a pawnbroker, somebody in finance, stockbroking, something where they really know the true value of the dollar. And let's say if this person is successful in this would come forth very strongly in their outer personality and the first impression that somebody may get of them, and it would show perhaps a very high self-esteem and self-worth, which is connected with the second house. But if this person, say, is not exactly flourishing or thriving in those second house matters, then it may not show forth as strongly in that first house. Now, as far as that first impression, I should say, which is connected with the first house. Now, and this could be, as I stated before, it's a way one can extricate themselves from perhaps maybe problems that are connected with the houses that are intercepted in the chart. If that person, say, had the ninth house intercepted and they had Taurus on the first and second houses, they could show those qualities perhaps connected with ninth house matters such as higher education, and would show persistent, persevering qualities, being able to stick to a subject, for example, and show the loyalty and Taurus dedication, and that could be a way where the person could perhaps have that best success in the ninth house matters, or take a Taurus type course up, such as something connected with accounting or banking. So that would be perhaps that way where one could extricate themselves from the ninth house, perhaps dilemma, which would be having an interception in the ninth house. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having the first and second houses duplicated in the natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about having the second and third houses duplicated in the natal horoscope. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.